The views and opinions expressed in this podcast by the host and or the guest do not necessarily reflect the views of the host and or Paranormal Buzz Radio and or its sponsors. Use of any material produced by Paranormal Buzz Radio without express written consent is prohibited. Paranormal Buzz Radio will not be held responsible for you holding your knees, crying, and rocking in a corner in a puddle of your own urine, or being beheaded by a group of children in a cornfield. In fact, if you come across a group of children in a cornfield, we promise to make fun of you as you run away screaming in terror. Listener discretion is advised. Caution. You are now entering the all-consuming realm of Shea's Paranormal Chat, where the things that are better left unsaid are actually said.
Shut up and sit down.
You're listening to Shea's Paranormal Chat. Paranormal podcasting done Shea's way. Tons of fun.
Dude, seriously?
A bit sarcastic.
Hashtag investigator, not hunter.
But always real.
Hashtag data, not evidence.
Don't get your panties in a twist.
Oh my god, really?
This is real, raw conversation. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Season 2, Episode 2 of Shea's Paranormal Chat. I am so excited for tonight. I cannot wait for this to start. We have the awesome trio. They're already laughing. That's okay. Of Seeking Paranormal. If you have not heard them yet, you have to check them out. Thursday nights, 10 p.m. Eastern, 9 Central, 8 Pacific. I don't know. Anyways, so it's been a long time since I've done that Pacific shit. So, hey, how you guys doing?
We are good. We got lots of people in chat.
We do. We have. Yeah, we already. Oh wow, we already do. I'm gonna try to do shout outs in the beginning and the end because I don't have Miss Kelly tonight. Kelly is Silcon. I forget where Kelly is.
She is a lady of the world these days.
Where in the world is Kelly McCarville? It's a game I'm gonna start playing.
I think that's a good one.
Yeah. So we have Miss Kim Purvis, we have Sarah, we have Nico, we have Darren. We have Matt, we have Felicia, let's see, and again, I lost my glasses, so this should be fun, reading chat,
and Miss Felicia is the wife of Coy, who was on RP.
Yes. I love them.
Last week. Yeah.
Yes, they are awesome.
They are. We love them.
They are. But, I have to wait a couple months and then I'll ask them to be on the show. But I will ask them. Trust me. Let's see. Where are we? So, everybody, we have Sarah and Adam Hyatt, and we have John Black.
Yep.
Is that what? All right. I get confused because he has a couple different last names.
No.
You just call them whatever you want.
Yep, most people do.
Yep. So, and like I said, they are the hosts of Seeking the Paranormal, but Sarah and Adam are part of See Paranormal, and John is What the Fuck? WTF? Paranormal.
There you go.
Is that what that stands for?
I think so. No?
I never realized that.
No?
How embarrassing.
I could be wrong, but,
It does. Nico is also part of WTF. That's why he was representing a little earlier.
Oh,
Right.
That's why. Okay. I get it.
Yep. His WTF for life.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we obviously Adam and I know one another, but we met John through.
You?
We do
A little bit. A little bit.
How well do you guys know each other?
Well, it depends on the day.
Right. You know.
All right, sorry.
We met John through the Granger house. He came and investigated with WTF, and the first time we met him, he was telling us how the ghost box was nothing but garbage, and that's probably what kind of drew me to him, because I said, okay, we'll see, and he has since changed his mind about it, but...
Oh, I'm still on the fence a little bit.
But we use it.
But I still use it.
You're leaning over the fence
I am.
more than you used to be.
Yeah, picking the weeds on the other side of the fence.
Yeah.
That's why I like John. Something about him resonates with me, let me tell you.
Well, you know, it's got to be... I guess what I think is...
Just say, here's the thing. That's what you wanted to say.
Hashtag, here's the thing.
Here's the thing. Is you got to get, in my point of view, lots of data to declare that something could be something. So I'm going to have to be using that spirit box and get lots of responses, because there is radio and words in there. So you have coincidences. So that's why I'm on the fence with it. I'll keep using it and gathering data on it. So
yeah, exactly. And multiple devices, multiple experiences. You can't just have one device go off and say it's paranormal. You can't.
Right.
You have to have multiple experiences, multiple devices before you can legitimately even call it data.
Points. Yeah, I mean, they're data points, and you know, if you can connect them, it's great.
Yeah, I agree. Oh, we already got questions. Darren, give me a second, because I am I'm confused, but so
okay.
Welcome to my life.
Welcome to my life. No, seriously, I'm gonna bring back a game that on the first network I was on that I used to play, and I think I named it this or that, and I haven't done it in the whole last season. So I got to come up with a new name. So listeners, email me with suggestions on the name, because I already have a co-host in another show that call it this or that, so we don't want to do it. I'm going to drop 5 questions, and you guys just yell out the answers. You have 2 choices. All right?
Okay. Yes.
And it's not an absolute, but I will be grading you.
Can we win money?
No. You can win respect. No, I'm kidding. You can't
have that either.
Wow.
I have no money to give you, or I would, but it's just 5 questions. It's either you have a choice of 2 words or a phrase, and just say the first one that comes to your mind. Does have to be an absolute, but here we go. Ready?
Yep.
All right. Investigator or hunter?
Investigator.
You passed. All right.
All right. I passed with a C.
Yes. All right. Data or evidence?
Data.
Very good. Provoking or no way?
No way.
I'm on the fence on that. I think you can respectfully provoke.
Yeah, there's a difference. You gotta be careful with these. There's a difference, but okay. So you half a point. But there's no right or wrong, you know.
Point for her answer. That's not right. We need a mediator.
There's no right or wrong unless you disagree with me. Then no.
Oh, okay. Darn it.
Residential or commercial?
Commercial.
Oh, in a sentence, residential, commercial, what? Hunt or what we do?
Location.
You gotta pick a word.
Commercial.
All
right.
Yeah.
Orb or dust?
Oh,
dust.
God.
Good God.
Insect, dander.
Yeah.
Yes.
Hair, rain, snow.
Yes. See? You guys got 99.99999 9%.
Sweet.
Perfect.
That's your fault.
We would have got 100% if it hadn't have been for you. Darn it, Sarah.
I get what she means. I don't mean... there's no time to disrespectfully provoke. There is, But you need to stand your ground, so some people confuse the two. I get it. So.
Well, and I can say that, we were at Missouri State Penitentiary. I figured you were. But we know each other a little bit. And Sarah kind of started getting on her, like getting angry, I guess, a little bit. Like acting a little louder.
Well, because I was asking questions and he said, that is not how they talk in prison.
Right, correct.
So you had to step it up a little bit, drop the F-bombs and be a little bit more authoritative. And
yeah.
So, yeah, I wasn't just
consider the F-bomb provoking, just so you know.
No, I consider it part of my regular vocabulary.
It's a very useful word, too. It can be used as a noun, a verb, an adjective. It's really good.
Exactly. See? I knew I'd like him. See?
Oh, that's funny.
All right, back to Missouri State Pen. Sorry.
Well, and yes, I did make the comment when she was asking questions that I thought she was being a little bit too nice. And she kind of started to get a little, you're going to let a little girl tell you what to do, or I think her exact words were, you're going to let somebody 5'2" tell you what to do. And I mean, in a way that was kind of provoking, I guess, to a point. But I think it was useful in that situation. So I think provoking to a point is kind of situational.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you don't go in and be like, hey, douchebag, talk to me or else. That's
right.
Provoking.
I'm definitely not going to rip my shirt off and ask somebody to push me down the stairs. It's not going to happen.
That's Eric's job in our group.
Oh, dear.
Yeah.
Because nobody wants to see that. Not even the ghost.
And the ghosts get their own WTF moment.
Oh, Jesus. See, I knew this would be a fun show. Sarah's face is so red right now. It's so funny.
I know, which is so weird because it takes a lot to embarrass her.
Actually, if Nico's listening, there was a time in the Granger house.
Nico took his shirt off?
No, we were setting up in the main bedroom and we were just talking, trying to talk to anything that was there. And then Nico said in such a voice, "Would you like to come into the bedroom?" What? What did you just say? Why did you have to say it that way?
Oh, that's funny. Well, how you doing out there, Nico?
We didn't get a thing all night because of that.
Oh, I'm dying. I'm crying. Oh.
Now you see why it took so long to get everything done.
Yeah. Nico got turned down by the ghost. Not only did they run away, but there was no response all night.
Well,
oh, dear.
Got rather cold.
Oh, okay. They're laughing in chat because, I knew. Just Sarah on the show was bad enough. I knew adding you two, this was going to be, there's no Kelly to rein us in. That's the problem.
Even
Kelly's
here.
the one that's like, Shea, bring it back. Nope. All right, so we had a question. Hold on, I got to find the question because I'm literally crying and I can't. Darren would like to know, for each of you, what are your favorite devices to use?
I'll go first because mine is easiest. I am a digital voice recorder girl. I'm all about the EVPs. I don't know. Hearing a voice, whether it be disembodied or an EVP or through the ghost box, whatever. That's my my main interest. So if I was only allowed one thing to take into an investigation with me, it would be that recorder.
Yep.
Adam?
Mine, and I have to say this currently because it can change it. I reserve the right to change it.
The second he sees something new.
Well, yeah, of course, duh. Jeez. The second, right, exactly. Like, come on now. My favorite currently right now is probably the SLS camera.
Oh, another good choice. Yes.
Yeah, we've had enough experiences with it that's validated the fact that it's not just picking up random stuff all the time. Like, you have to be mindful of what you're seeing, but
yeah. If it moves around the screen and, like, literally moves, there's a difference, because we've had a couple ones that you can just tell it's sitting in the same spot for an hour.
Yes.
Not doing anything. There's a difference.
Right, and when I can ask, can you raise your right hand, and they do
it does, yeah.
That lends a little bit more credence to that. So as of right now, ask me in a month, it might be different. Yeah. But as of right now,
I gotta tell you guys, only because I know, well, kind of, I know Sarah. I gotta tell you a quick story. Hopefully my mother's not listening. She's probably on her way here right now, but my mother investigates with us. And we were using the SLS one time, and my mother said, if you're here, reach, because we could see something on the screen, and we were trying to see if it would listen to commands. And she said, if you're here, reach out with your right hand, touch my hand. And it did. So it's so cool. And then we were like, oh, you really like our mother, don't you? And then it was sitting on her lap, and she's like, I'm like numb, and I don't know what I'm feeling. Like, next thing we know, this thing is down on its knees between her legs, and I'm like, wow, it really likes my mother.
Would you like to go into the bedroom?
Yeah. I have no idea what it was doing, but it followed commands up till then, and then it was on its own. It just did what it wanted to do.
Oh, that is priceless.
Oh, yeah. We have pictures. Yeah, we have the video and pictures. Oh, my God. She's going to kill me. Hopefully she's on her way driving and she's not listening. If you're listening, Mom, I love you.
Right.
All right, John, your favorite device. Let's change this up quick so my mother doesn't ground me.
I'm never going to beat that now, but in fact, mine's kind of boring. I built, the one I like using a lot is I built myself. So when we looked at, when EMP pumps suddenly became a thing, where they're putting out energy, when I actually looked at the ones you can buy, it's like a 9-volt motor spinning around, which it makes an EMF meter go off just because it's spinning. So when I thought about what does put out a lot of energy, a metal detector. And the nice thing about a metal detector is when that energy is, when a charge goes back at it, it goes off. And so I built one. And it stands up like a radar. It just stands up straight up and down. And we place it on the floor. And we got 2 of them now because...
It looks like a lollipop.
It does.
On top of a box, yeah.
And the thing is, it goes off. There's no reason it should never go off.
Right. Here's the thing.
I'm going to start speaking in German in a minute.
I haven't taken German since the 7th grade, so please, no.
You're making fun of me. So, no, but it should never go off unless there's like flakes of metal floating around. And we've tested it in the workshop and let it sit there. It's never gone off on its own in the workshop, but when we take it to these places, sometimes it goes off. And actually in the Granger house, when we got the second one, the reason we got the second one is because we wanted to try and improve movement. It just going off, okay, that's great. When we did 2, one went off, and 2 seconds later down the hallway, the second one went off. You can infer movement from that. So, and also because we knew how far away they were, you can also kind of work out what the speed is, which, as nerdy as that is, ended up being 4 miles an hour.
Dear God.
I know.
You really figured that out?
That's a brisk walk.
Well, I mean...
So, no, I like that just because... And then the thing that really got me was when we took it to Edinburgh, and Nico was there, it didn't just go beep at the bottom of the stairs. it was going off like a fire alarm. And I thought it was a dead battery. And as I was coming out to turn it off, Nico said, "Can you stop that now?" And it stopped. Yeah. I was like, wow. I don't like that. And I turned it off, turned it back on again.
Like that, that's what you meant.
I know. Well, I didn't at the time. But I turned it back on just to prove the battery theory, and it wouldn't go off. Nico asked him to set it off again. It went off. So, it's kind of either an extreme coincidence or intelligent response.
If you want to see, WTF is really good about putting out videos that show the things that they're doing. So on YouTube, WTF Investigations.
Yeah, and you can see we've got there.
I call it the Nom Nom.
Yes, I got Nom Nom written on it. It's a ghost eater.
Nom, 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 nom. Here, to anybody listening, here's a statement you don't hear me say a lot. I'm a huge fan of What the Fuck Paranormal. And I can't say WTF. I have to say the whole thing. Sorry. WTF Paranormal. Huge fan. Have been for a long time. Way before they were on the network. Didn't even know he was part of this. So it's a very good coincidence. So check them out.
So you're our viewer as well at WTF?
I am. I'm the one viewer on Seeking the Paranormal and WTF. Yes.
Because we do the Talking with Spirits where we get together at the bar and get suitably refreshed and discuss things.
Hey, see? I'm telling you, I think we were related in another life or something. Right. Because I have to stay. This is me behaving. You should hear me not on the radio. As a co-owner, I have to be careful. This is me being careful.
On your best behavior.
Yes, it actually is, sadly. It really is.
Actually, those Talking with Spirits take a lot of editing. We put those out. So.
Darren just subscribed, so you've got a new subscriber.
Thank you.
Darren knows, Darren, Wolf, and there's a few others that know if I recommend them, because that's not something I do. There's a handful of you guys that I recommend, and most of you are on the network, but you're on the network for a reason. I'm not going to put somebody on the network that I don't respect. Seriously.
Yeah. Well, and as much fun as we have doing it, I mean, we really do tackle some, I think, tough topics and have really good discussions about it. And I always say John can science things to death, but sometimes you need that perspective to wrangle your own, as John calls it, leaps of faith in a little bit. So, Kim just subscribed to you too. So,
Thank you. Thank you.
Hey, you're up to 3.
I wish I'd monetized the channel. You might start seeing ads soon.
John just made $5.
I'm retiring.
Oh dear.
Oh, sorry. Oh.
I think we made her cry again.
You really did. But I needed this. It's been a very long summer, so this is why you guys are the 1st of September, because I knew this is how it would be, and I really needed this, so.
Good. We're glad to be that for you.
Yeah. But you guys are serious, and I'm trying not to laugh too much, but you guys have this unique, different perspectives. Like, you all kind of agree on the core beliefs, but see things a different way. And I think that helps when it comes to talking to paranormal. Because if somebody says something to me, the opposite of what I believe or the opposite of what I understand, I listen more to the person and try to see their point of view and try to figure it out that way. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, here's the thing. Hashtag. But if I talk to a lot of people, the worst one is on Facebook. If you add something, a lot of people get upset when you say, "Well, wait a minute, that might just be dust. It's not really an orb." They get upset, and but it doesn't. You shouldn't stop doing it because it is dust. And
I think that was probably one of the things that maybe brought our show together because, believe it or not, John has been kicked out of Facebook groups
Hallelujah.
for suggesting an alternative to a ghost.
Yep.
That's me.
Gets it, yeah.
Yep.
I mean, that is so asinine to me. Why would you put anything out there? And then don't call it bullying if somebody is politely saying, hey, have you thought about this? That's such garbage.
It's a difference. Yeah.
It irritates me. I mean, there's obviously a difference between being polite about a suggestion and calling somebody an idiot. But if you're respectfully giving them an alternative point of view, there's no reason why anybody should call that bullying, why it should be considered harassment. Like, that's dumb. Don't put it out on Facebook if you can't handle it.
Well,
exactly.
It's a good thing to put it out there because if you have something that's strong,
we want to see it.
It's got to go through peer scrutiny. I mean,
it does.
Einstein didn't say E equals MC squared, take my word for it. It has to be checked, double checked, and that's how we can do it is through social media, as paranormal investigators say, look, I call this, I think it's this, what do you think? And then, if it survives that, then, hey, it's a lot stronger for it. If it doesn't, then throw it away and go get another one,
Yeah.
I agree. I 100% agree. I really do. I put up, we put up stuff that we believe in, and then there's other things we put up and we're like, hey, what the hell is this? Somebody tell us what is going on, and that's how it should be.
Absolutely.
And even if you swear by it, there's no such thing as evidence in the fucking paranormal. There's my second F-bomb, Darren, before you pointed out in chat. There's no such thing as evidence in the paranormal because the paranormal is not proven. It's not scientific, so don't call it evidence. We are collecting information, and we're going to put it together, and hopefully someday maybe we can say evidence, but at this point we can't. We really can't.
That's beautifully said. I absolutely agree with you.
Yep. Oh, Darren says that was my third F-bomb.
Oh. We're counting.
They do. Oh, yeah, they keep track. If I don't say one during the show, they think I'm dying.
Darren, I hope you're doing shots every time she uses the F word.
We've done that before.
I know I am.
We've done a show like that. Every time Shea swears, you have to take a shot. People were like, yeah, I got too drunk. Never again.
Well, yeah, maybe he shouldn't do that. We might not make it. He might not make it through the episode.
Yeah.
You come back and listen to it, get drunk again.
Right.
We have more questions that I have missed. Hold on, I got to go back a little ways. Let me make sure. See, this feels more like a conversation between friends than it does a show, so I got to make sure I ask the questions.
I like questions.
I know. Here's the thing. No.
There it is.
I've copyrighted that.
You should.
You see? Yep. All right.
You'll be hearing from my lawyers.
Yeah, see? It's like getting blood from a stone. Good luck.
Right.
Let's see. Darren wants to know. Question. If you had a chance to build a device for an investigation, what would it be and why? Oh, John, that must be for you.
That is a John and Adam question.
At the moment, what I'm working on, what I want to do is, when you go on an investigation, you have so many detectors and meters. Now, there's a thing called an Arduino chip, which basically is a chip that you can program very easily. And then you can attach all kinds of detectors to it. So what I'm working on at the moment is there's a temperature humidity detector, there are motion detectors, all kinds of detectors. I want to pull that all together in one unit so I don't have to keep going, quick, pull that out, point it over there,
right.
Fire,
yeah.
No, who's next? So if I can build all of those reliably into a unit that, well, there's two things with that. The one is a lot of the stuff that gets sold is kind of unreliable, and it's designed to be unreliable because if it doesn't go off in a place that you know is haunted, then it must be rubbish. But that's not true. So I'd like it to be reliable, and then and not interfere with itself. So, the EMF's not going to go off every time some other detector does, if you know what I mean.
I do. I think when you have 3 in a row and one goes off, I think that's stronger.
Yeah, so I am in the middle of building like a tricorder, Star Trek tricorder, where you just point it at a room and it will give you all kinds of readings.
Beat me up, Scotty. I can't wait to see it.
Yeah, me neither. I've been building it for like 6 months at the moment, so
How long does it take you to usually build these things?
I'm an IT guy, so first off, my programming is weak. My electronics is really weak. If you watch me solder something, you'll just cry. So, that's why. Yeah, but we got a guy joined that's going to help with the electronics. So it's just real life gets in the way. So
it does.
As soon as we're got it finished, the prototype, then we can go out and test it in the field.
Well, and I'm super proud of this, so I tell people, so they're actually going to have to finish here eventually, but these two are creating an SLS camera that you can use on tablets and cell phones, which I know it's already on a tablet, but it's going to be a much smaller device.
Yeah, but they weigh like 6,000 pounds.
Yeah. So what these two are working on is a smaller camera that you'd be able to plug into even your cell phone. And
doesn't need
like
external
flare.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
But it doesn't need an external battery either way. So that's what makes them unwieldy. Is that huge honking great battery that you have to put into the Xbox. So we're working with a smaller depth camera that does the same thing as the Xbox controller, basically. And then, once again, it's the programming. So once the programming's done, it should work just fine.
I'm excited for that.
All right, so I almost called you John. Adam.
Yes.
If you nothing you're already making.
Oh man.
If you could make one device, what would it be? Something.
I don't know. I really don't.
It's an honest answer.
Yeah, it is an honest answer because I just at this moment in time I don't know. I mean, I feel like every time we go on some different investigations, I think of some other crazy idea, and then I have to ask John if it's even possible.
Yeah.
Like, hey, could we do this? And he's like, where did you come up with that crap? I don't know. So right now I don't really know because I'm struggling with the whole magnetic type situation, and we've been talking about that a lot, and I'm trying to figure it all out because I don't quite understand it, and so I'd like to narrow that down a little bit more. Like, we've determined that when John pulls out his tri-field meter and my K2 is going off, that it's picking up magnetic, which I'd like to just be able to narrow that down even more, to be more specific to that. So that, I guess, maybe that's
what would be cool? Something that can actually see a magnetic field. Instead of stick figures, have a camera where you can see a magnetic field. I'm going to look that up.
Let's look that up.
Yeah.
It's kind of like auras for the magnetic field.
Yeah.
That
would be kind of cool.
That would be.
So I'm going to skip...
Hey, there we go. We just came up with a new invention. Woohoo!
You did. I'm going to skip that question and answer Darren's other question about cemeteries. We typically don't investigate cemeteries, but I have found one that's called National Cemetery that's it's kind of between here and where my parents live now, which is really close to us. And I'm kind of obsessed with it all of a sudden. So we have been out there. Adam and I went out to investigate one day. I went out there one night by myself, and I'm excited to go back. I absolutely love cemeteries, so I make Adam stop all the time when I see a sign for a Pioneer Cemetery, or we see one that's just in a really random place that looks really old. And then I take a bazillion pictures, so I'm sure Google Pics people probably think I'm crazy, but that's fine. We had not investigated them just because I guess I always just kind of assumed why would you go to where your body is if you're not connected to it anymore? But I through this show, though, sometimes I start to rethink things. So, maybe it is a good to communicate and to connect.
Well, see, now we do a lot of cemeteries because we have a lot of free time during the day, and cemeteries are great to do during the day. Mostly I'm in New Hampshire. There's so many lores and legends about haunted cemeteries. So we go there and try to see, is something really there? Can you disprove it? But most of the time, it's about what was already on the land before it was a cemetery. It has nothing to do with the cemetery.
Yeah.
Well,
I'll tell you, so Adam and I went on a little adventure the other night looking for the Lynn County home cemeteries. We're in Lynn County, Iowa. We went looking for the cemetery that was attached to the county home, and we found where we believe it is. It's just a field now. There's no signs for it. There's no markers. There's nothing. And I would like to actually go out there because it just felt kind of sad to me. And I wonder, what we might get there as well. So who knows? Yeah. So it's not something we had done a lot, but I think it's something that we're doing a little bit more now.
Yeah, like I said, we do them mostly because there's a lot of local legends around the state, but most of the time it's not somebody going to visit their body. It's somebody that died nearby or something that happened on the land, and people just think, oh, Mary's buried here, it must be Mary. So I like trying to differentiate between what's what. Not always possible, but, we try.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm just checking to make sure I didn't miss any. There's another question here somewhere.
Yeah, Darren wanted to know how we felt about shadow people, it's interesting that you asked that because we're going to record episode 9 tonight, and that's our topic. So,
I was going to say, that is a topic all in itself. I could do 6 episodes just on shadow people. It's my top. Yeah. So,
Darren, I love you, but we're not going to answer that one tonight because you need to listen to episode 9.
I so want to answer that one.
I know you do, but we need something to talk about later.
Well, we can talk about that.
Can you say this?
It's censored. Huh?
Do you, everybody say a different answer. Do you believe more or less in shadow people? Just like, is there a threshold? Like, yes, no? That's it. Don't give no other. Just say yes or no.
I'm going to keep this really short.
Yes or no, John. Yes or no is really short.
He wants to know. He was nice enough to tune in and listen to us blather on.
Actually, Darren is your second listener. Darren does listen.
Yes, I appreciate
it. I think my idea is, and I'm not going to talk tons on it because we're going to do a thing on, but shadow people is a thing that happens a lot in the paranormal where one thing gets labeled and then a law builds up around it and then people add to it. Now we got hats and then all of a sudden there's subclassifications of it. So that's my feeling. My actual, where that all comes from, you'll have to listen to the episode.
I would stay awake for that one.
There you go.
Perfect.
I always listen. I just don't always listen live. Sometimes I get so drawn in while I'm uploading it. I'm like, I'm 3/4 through the show and I've already listened, like, oops.
Hey, I appreciate that.
Yeah.
I believe in shadow people. I don't believe they are necessarily always a subcategory. That's where I'll leave that.
And I would agree with that. Pretty much. I agree with what Sarah said.
Oh, never heard that before.
It doesn't happen often, but it does happen.
Listeners cannot see the fear in his eyes.
Well, they could be brother and sister. They have the same last name, but we know they're husband and wife, and he's a Hudson.
Not with fear in the eyes that strong.
Yeah. Oh my God, whatever.
Oh my God.
Whatever.
I don't want to sleep on the couch.
Oh my God. These two are
Doghouse. The doghouse for you.
Somebody asked where, I don't see it anymore, so maybe you deleted it. Somebody asked about our favorite places to investigate.
No, that was here. I didn't delete it. Somebody else might have. They might have. I don't delete things. But.
Well, I think we should answer it.
Yes.
John?
Besides the Granger house.
Oh. Yeah, I like going to Edinburgh Manor here in Iowa. Edinburgh to me, it's more of a hit or miss, except that when you hit, we hit big. So between Edinburgh Manor and Farrar School, those are my two go-tos if I want to try and get a big hit. You're not guaranteed it, but if you want stuff to go really freaky, those are my two go-tos.
My favorite place to investigate. I can't say the Granger house.
Nope, it's off the table.
I would have to say Edinburgh is probably my favorite place, just because it's close enough that we get to go there often enough that I'm more familiar with the place.
And that helps. Yep.
It does help, and I think, they also, well, hopefully we get more evidence because
Data.
They're top though. What?
Data.
Yes. Oh, I'm sorry. My bad. Oopsie.
I'm sorry. I'm just making fun of you.
Take some of our points away.
No.
No. Actually, I showed a post that said evidence, and people were like, "You said evidence?" I'm like, well, "It's an old post." Like.
Well, it's something we're just so used to saying.
It's become the term.
It has. It has.
It is.
And
that's why I'm trying to get over that.
Larry.
No, I use it. No, I don't agree with it.
Yeah.
Just because other people know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I've got my data. What are you talking about, you nerd?
Well, yeah. When you say, I would not disagree. When you say data, you do kind of sound like a nerd.
Yep.
But 3 years ago, I was so hell bent on data. I can't think of what the next thing I was going to say. But words mattered so much, and now I'm just kind of like, okay, I get it. It's slang. It's like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would agree with that.
Mm-hmm.
Wolf was the one who asked. Since these two said Edinburgh, and that is definitely mine. I mean, we've probably been there close to a dozen times. These two fools are going on New Year's Eve, and it is going to be so flipping cold there. I am not going because I am a princess.
No fear.
I'm wearing a t-shirt.
No fear.
Just a t-shirt.
I'm going naked.
All right.
I'm going to beat you.
This is going to be fun.
Nobody ever.
I take it there's no live feeds that night then, huh?
There will be no live feeds, but there will be a WTF video that comes up. Because everybody's going to be saying WTF.
Exactly.
Oh. All right, I'm leaving that alone.
Yeah. I will. I'm going to just tell you a place that I really enjoyed investigating and want to get back to was probably the Palmer House in Sauk Center, Minnesota. And in fact, I've reached out to them, and right now they're not scheduling any private investigations, which kind of stinks because you can't get into the basement unless you schedule one. They do a lot of public investigations, though. So we were there with Darkness Radio several years ago. I think Steve and Tango from Ghost Hunters have held events there too. But down and we've gotten experiences all throughout the building. We were in what they call the kids' room, which is kind of a toy room, and sat there and listened to what we thought was somebody walking up the steps, and we waited for them to come up and walk past us so they didn't interfere with our EVP session. and Chandrell, a girl in our group, leaned out the door to see what door they were going in. And we heard the key in the door, but there was nobody out in the hallway, which was crazy. In the basement, though, that's probably where we've had the most experiences. The first night that we were there, I can tell you we were doing an EVP session, and I thought I heard a little girl. And I asked if anybody else had heard her, and nobody had, so I did not tell anybody what I thought she said. And I was like, okay, I must have just been mishearing something. And we went upstairs for kind of the break in between vigils, and Mike Perry, who's part of Michael and Marty Perry, had been in the bar, and I hear him just come out, and he's looking for a Sarah, and I never answer when strangers are looking for Sarah because it's like the world's most common name. But nobody else was answering, so finally I said, yeah, I'm Sarah. And he said that he was sitting at the bar during our last vigil, and this little girl, spirit, was tugging on his coat trying to get his attention and wanted him to point out that I had heard her. And he said, she said, Mommy, right? Well, that's really cliche. That's why I didn't say anything. But he knew what I had heard, so that was kind of crazy. But then, was it the second night, I think, that we were there?
Yep.
Bill Chappell, who is the genius behind all of the equipment on Ghost Adventures. I'm sorry he's attached to that show, but he's super smart and knows a lot of most of the equipment that we love came out of Bill's mind. And he's just really a good guy, down to earth. But our group was in the basement, and he said, hey, go back in that back room where there's no windows. Turn off anything that emits any light. He's like, you cannot have any light at all. And just sit in there and see what happens. He said, I'll make sure nobody comes back there. So he kind of played a defense for us. And we sat there for probably close to an hour and watched what I would call shadow people rush up to us. I mean, like in our face, rush up to us and then would rush back. We saw so many crazy things down there. I mean, at one time it looked like there was a bunch of blue smoke kind of surrounding the room. And it was one of the most intense and crazy experiences, to the point where almost when I rethink about it, it doesn't even seem real because it just seems too fantastic. But it was what was really happening. Unfortunately, I think there was one audio recorder running, but because we couldn't have any light, we didn't have anything else on to capture the experience. So it's just a personal experience really at this point, but it was intense. It was crazy. So if you can get to the Palmer House and Sauk Center, it's about an hour north. It is a horrible hotel, less than a 1-star. But if you're looking for a haunted hotel, take your own pillow. There's no doors on any of the bathrooms, but it's really worth it.
So, investigate the hotel, but rent a different room somewhere else.
If you can, yes.
If you can do that, absolutely. Mm-hmm. Yep.
We have another question. Oh, go ahead. No, keep going.
I was going to say, Sauk Center is a really tiny town, so you're not going to get a 5-star hotel in that place. But, yeah, the Palmer House has seen better days.
Hey, Shea is Iowa bound in 2020.
Yay!
There you go.
I'm going to try my hardest to make it work in 2020. My youngest daughter just moved out. She's in college. And 2020, it might be December of 2020, but I am going to try really hard.
Oh my God, we'll be so excited. Yes.
Yes, that's my plan. All right, Darren comes up with the best questions. Darren needs his own show because he comes up with some of the best questions. If you come across a full body apparition, who would you want it to be, and what would you say?
Oh dear.
Yeah, see, I told you.
Good Lord, Darren.
That's deep.
I
pass. I'm the host. I don't get to answer.
I know.
Okay, go.
If I could communicate with it, you're saying?
Mm-hmm.
So they plop up in front of me and I get a question?
Yeah.
It'd be Einstein, and I'd say, so how's this work?
Oh, okay. And that answer doesn't surprise me out of you.
Well, that's why I'm there, you know.
Man,
I honestly don't know.
I have no idea.
I do. If I get one full body apparition, no, I need Prince.
I knew that was. I knew you were going to say that. I knew you were going to say that.
I do. I've seen him
What
live
question
one
are you going to
time.
ask him?
I don't care.
Oh, you just want to see him.
I
Sing for me.
I
Right.
guess.
Like, what
Sing
the?
Purple Rain to me.
I love that song. Or when doves cry. That's my
Also
favorite.
great. Yes. I saw Prince once. Oh my God! Shut up. That is the Munchkins from the Wizard of Oz. Not saying.
Oh my God.
Don't do that when I'm trying to swallow a drink. I almost spit all over the microphone. That would have been terrible.
All right, smart Alec, what's yours?
Why am I? He's the one. He did it. Why am I the smart aleck?
Because you
Because you live with her.
I know, right? God. Man, that's tough.
Your dad.
Well, yeah. I mean,
Be careful what you wish for.
right.
Well, that's true.
I don't disagree with that. I mean, I think that would be the obvious one, but I don't know. I don't
think there's any shame in saying you'd want to see your dad one more time.
It's not. No, I'm not saying shame, but that's just too obvious.
Too obvious.
It's just too obvious. Like, I mean, I don't know. I'll think on that. Get back to me before the end of
Actually,
the
you
show.
saying that has made me feel bad now.
Oh
Like,
my
what
God.
about I could have said my granddad. He probably hates me now.
We
He's
need
looking
to
at me
take a second because poor Felicia did not even know Prince
I just
died.
read that.
What?
You
Felicia,
speak
I
of
love
Felicia
her.
and Coy, and they show up. Look at that. Yes, Felicia, Prince died.
Oh,
It was
it
very
makes
sad.
me so sad.
That
Yeah.
was like a couple of years ago, wasn't it?
Like
More
a year.
than a couple, but
Has it been? I don't know. It feels like yesterday.
Sarah lost track of
Yeah.
time. It's
She
fine.
did.
and once you hit a certain age, Sarah, if you call me ma'am one more time in a text message or email, then we're done. This relationship is over. I'm like, I'm not that much older than you. Stop calling me ma'am.
And I hate it when people call me that too. So yes, I
No,
apologize.
I'm kidding. No. I'm kidding. It's fine. I just found it funny. Have you ever? Wolf wants to know for all of you. Again, I can't find my glasses. This is for all of you. Have you ever been touched by a spirit that made you scream or give you the heebie-jeebies?
Hey, I did. I think I did. I was at Farrar's schoolhouse. We were down in the basement, and I was running the camera on a tripod, and the door to the boiler room is like a metal door on hinges.
Yep. Yeah. Oh, that boiler room. Yes.
Yeah. And I was, I
Never
love
been
that.
there, but yeah.
Yeah, I was going there. So I set the tripod up in the doorway. I was holding the door open with my forearm and shoulder. So my arm was peeking out the back. And something poked me right in the back of the arm above the elbow. And I thought my arm had slipped down and hit the doorknob maybe. And I looked down and there is no doorknob, but my arm's clear of the door. So, yeah, that session got broken up pretty quick. Some just poked me! And everybody had to come and look at my arm and said, well...
I had something slap my ass once, and no, I did not let anybody look at my ass to see if there was a mark, so...
It wasn't the same time that stick figure was doing his stuff, was it?
No. Different time. I wasn't looking at him. I wasn't looking for a mark on that one either. Sorry, Mom. She's gonna kill me.
got touched when we were at Waverly this summer.
That must be a fun place to be touched.
Yeah. Well, yeah. But it was weird. It wasn't scary,
That's what
but it
she
felt
says
like
when I touch her too.
That is true.
Show me on the doll where the ghost touched you.
Oh my God. See what I'm up with? Honest to God. Something was rubbing my back, like up and down, like comforting, in a comforting way.
It wasn't Adam?
It wasn't Adam.
I call that foreplay.
Oh my God.
Man, I always thought buying dinner was foreplay.
Depends on the girl, man. Sorry, Sarah, go on.
No, so that was mine. It didn't. I guess it didn't really give me the heebie-jeebies. It was weird. We'll just say that.
I would say when we were at Belvoir Winery, and I can't remember what they called that building, but it was a little building kind of. I mean, it was all dark in there, and they were talking about. They had just mentioned something about people getting touched.
The bomb shelter?
Yeah, and something touched the back of my leg, and it touched it enough that I thought like a raccoon or something just brushed up against the back of my leg, but I was leaning up against the wall, so that would be physically impossible. And it did give me the heebie-jeebies, honestly, just because I think that was the very first time anything like that had happened. I mean, I've had things touch me at the Granger house since then, and it doesn't so much give me the heebie-jeebies anymore because now I know kind of what it feels like. But that one definitely gave me the heebie-jeebies and made me question standing up against the wall anymore.
For anybody listening that doesn't do paranormal investigating, there's times on investigations that you're like, I think something might have just touched me, and then there's times when something just touched me. There's like absolutely no denying it, and that's the difference.
For sure.
So
Darren wants to know who's the one person or group we haven't investigated that we'd like to.
That would be Shea.
Yes.
No, there you go.
Exactly.
No, sorry.
The answer from all three of us.
Yeah. That's a tough question. That really is.
There's a lot of people. Honestly, in November, hopefully Adam and I are going to get to investigate with Felicia and Coy. I'm really looking forward to that.
Oh. Nice.
So that's cool.
Yep.
There's a lot of people. And that's kind of the thing. So See Paranormal, we've kind of dispersed a little bit. So we really just investigate with friends now more than anything. I mean, See Paranormal still gets together for some investigations, but it's nice because we do get to investigate with a lot of different people. And like we've gotten to investigate with WTF a lot this summer. And it's fun to get different perspectives on how people do stuff. So
I love doing that. Yep.
There's a lot of people that would, be my answer for that question.
It's so hard.
Me personally, there isn't anybody on my list. As long as you're objective and, want to do it, I'm fine. I mean, I don't have...
That's the best answer I've ever heard, I have to tell you.
Sorry,
Seriously.
I don't have any, celebrity heroes or anything. And
you just got extra credit.
I did? Yeah, I'm making up for the points you guys keep losing. Sorry, I'll do
now
that.
You're at 100%. He just gave you
I watch the reality shows, and that's about, I don't go to expos or anything like that. We kind of just do our thing. I mean, we look at stuff online, but I don't remember who's who, or, I know the reality shows I basically... There's one I don't mind watching, but I also realize that they're entertainment vehicles. So,
That's why I say we can't mention certain things because people forget that.
And I wasn't going to.
Entertainment.
It's been extremely obscure.
Yeah, I was just,
But I don't have
if they're
any.
on TV, they're game.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, but I don't have anyone in mind that I would, I don't sit there an investigation and say, oh, I wish I could go with.
Now that he's investigated with me, he's just open to anybody else.
Yeah, I mean, as long as
His bucket list is full.
Yeah. I'm done.
Well, speaking of that, Darren did ask what our bucket list places were.
Yeah.
Shea, I'm taking over your job. I'm sorry, but I know you don't have your glasses on, so I'm trying to help you out.
Don't apologize to me. I'm going to invite you back every month. Kelly goes away at least once a week, I mean, once a month, not once a week, once a month.
For me, after, so Adam and I go to the Haunted America Conference every year. Troy Taylor puts it on. It's in Alton, Illinois. And it's fantastic, and if you haven't been, you absolutely should go, because the reason I really love what Troy's doing is it is educationally based. So it's not one of those places where you go to see celebrities. It's where you go to learn or to gain a new perspective or to hear an author speak about something they've written about. That's why I absolutely love that conference. But this past summer, and I wish I could remember the chick's name, but off the top of my head I can't. But she talked about, why we aren't engaging with the Native Americans more in the investigations we're doing. And that, I come from a town where we had a Meskwaki settlement, which they're part of Sac and Fox, right outside my town. And I've always wanted to investigate there. And to be perfectly honest, I think I'd be a little bit chicken to do it. But it's still one of my bucket lists. I would love to go investigate out on the Meskwaki settlement.
We should reach out to
we have to have permission because it's private property. But I'm not so certain that that there aren't people who would be okay with it. I think that maybe we could garner some interest.
Yeah, Native Americans tend to be on the spiritual side, and our supernatural belief, they do. So
yeah.
All right, last question from the chat. We've already been on for over an hour, just barely, but so
really?
I know.
Wow.
Yeah,
that was quick.
It goes by. You guys, seriously, I want you guys to come back. This is great.
All right.
Darren, of course. Thank you, Darren, for everything.
Yes.
If you had a chance to buy a haunted location or a house, what would it be and why? I think he means any famous haunted location.
Bawley Church.
Oh, yeah.
That will be my choice.
Yeah.
Bawley Church in the UK. That's...
I'll have to look that one up.
Well, it used to be Bawley Rectory.
Are you English?
Yes.
No, really?
Yes.
Yeah. I'm kidding. Yeah. Sorry.
I was like... Oh.
Well, most people say Australian. So, well done.
No.
My
daughter trained me well. No. Sorry, go on.
No, but I mean, Bawley Rectory was like the case. When I was a kid, that was like most famous.
Yeah.
And then that's how we learned about people like Harry Price and the Psychic Research Society. So the rectory's gone. But then the BBC did an investigation, and this is the BBC, they don't believe in anything. But they did an investigation of Bawley Church and pretty much came to the conclusion that, yes, it's haunted. So,
and you can find the videos from that on Seeking the Paranormal's Facebook and Twitter pages.
Nice.
But that's I mean, Harry Price to me was, he was a bit of a charlatan at the beginning, but then he exposed all the charlatans, and he's one of the first started using scientific methods.
I think he had good intentions.
He did, yeah, but,
I know people are going to kind of boo this, but I would be interested in getting my hands on Amityville.
Boo.
110 Ocean Avenue, which is I think 112 Ocean Avenue now, or maybe it was 112 and now it's 110. Anyway, just to kind of put everything to rest, is it or is it not haunted? Because as many times as it has been exposed, there is still so many people who are so steadfast that it really happened.
Well, I would go in a heartbeat with you, but there's also been no paranormal claims in, 30 years?
Correct.
So, but I would go in a heartbeat. I just threw my pen across the room.
Oh, you didn't need that dang pen.
That is how excited. Darren's going with us too, it looks like.
I got excited. You mentioned, close
It's the
enough
power of amateur pro.
Yeah.
Stuff stops flying around the room.
I forget where I was going. That just flew.
I would buy any old prison.
Yeah.
Oh.
Iowa State Penitentiary is what I would buy if I could.
I like the squirrel.
We haven't investigated Iowa State Penitentiary yet because they won't let us.
Nobody has
yet. Well, because nobody has. But yeah, if I could buy any place, because
Adam got stabbed there when he was doing time.
I was not doing time. Goodness gracious. I worked there as a correction officer.
I just had soda come out my nose, thank you.
Yeah. Okay, that story's for a whole nother episode.
He was not.
We'll save that for part 2.
Yes.
Yeah.
But
I'd write it down, but my pen's across the room.
That's all right. I had a lot of people when I worked there that told me that the oldest section of the prison was definitely haunted, because they had cell doors shutting and just crazy stuff happening. And so if I could buy anything, I would buy that place. I think that place would be absolutely amazing.
Although Darren suggested Alcatraz, and that's a real good answer as well.
That is a good answer. Plus, you'd have your own island.
Yes.
That'd be cool.
Yes. Yeah. Bonuses.
That'd be cool.
I didn't have an answer until you brought up the prison. Now that you brought up the prison, I'd buy probably Laconia State School. And,
is that...
UMass. Yeah, sorry. Down here. So,
Interesting.
I think that'd be one. That's like one of my favorite locations. One.
If you could buy it,
yeah.
The Vatican.
Oh, Jesus.
Really, though? Think about that.
Imagine you would get so many answers as long as the information came with it.
Yeah,
right.
I want the libraries, too. They'd still be full.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Man, that's asking a lot.
Well, it's hypothetical.
Well, I know.
If you're going to be a bear, grizzly.
Go big or go home. You know?
Yep.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Let's see. All right, guys. Why don't you? We'll start with ladies first. Although Sarah and Adams might be the same. Throw out your social media that you want to share.
Yeah, you can find me on Facebook under See Paranormal Sarah. So it's just S-E-E Paranormal Sarah, and my name has an H at the end. Seeking the Paranormal is on Facebook and Twitter because I'm too old for Instagram, but I'm sure that's soon to follow. And that's about, personally I'm on Twitter and Instagram as well. And Adam probably does have the same answers. So.
Yeah.
Seeking the P on Twitter. That one I know.
Yep.
I'm just saying, that's what it is. I don't
It makes me laugh. Yeah. Seeking the Paranormal is too long. So technically our name is at Seeking the P, which is hilarious.
Nice. It was John. John did it. John did it.
Figures.
Tell the poor woman how she can find you.
Okay, we've got a webpage, WTFinvestigations.com. We're also on Facebook under WTF Investigations, and we've got a YouTube video channel, WTF Investigations.
Yes.
So, we if you need to reach us, you can. If it's really scary, we'll still go.
I wasn't sure where that was going. I was like,
Adam?
Adam?
Yes, ma'am.
Do we find you through your wife?
Yes.
Probably. I mean, you can look me up on Facebook, just Adam Hyatt. I
finally found you tonight after a month of being on the network. I found you tonight.
Great. And you told me you found me on Instagram, but I don't know.
Oh, that's a different story. That wasn't you.
No, it wasn't.
No.
He doesn't look like that naked.
Oh, hey.
I have no comment.
Well,
Jesus.
Thank goodness this is just audio and not video, because now my face is red.
Mine probably is too, and this is the first time in a long time it's been red. When we stop the show and I tell you why my face is red, then you'll get it. But
I can't wait.
Yes. So, all right, guys. Thank you for listening tonight, and I hope to have you guys back soon because this is great. Yeah, there. Oh, I gotta do shout-outs. I'm not used to being alone here, man. Where's Kelly when I need her? All right, let's see. If you're not in chat and you're listening, we really appreciate it. If you're listening later, thank you so much for the support. In the chat, we have Nico, we have Darren, we have Kim, we have Matthew. This is good. I can barely read. We have Miss Kim, we have Coy, we have Felicia, we have Sarah, Matt. It only lets me scroll. This is why I do it in the beginning and the end. Darren.
Wolf was in there.
Wolf, yes, of course, Wolf. Wolf has been following me since, not following. He's been listening to the show since I was on the other network, so he's been along for the ride, so.
You need a restraining order?
Me or him? He might.
All right, well, whatever direction you need to go there.
If I missed anybody in chat, I'm sorry. I don't know what I do with my glasses. They're probably in the bathroom by the sink before I wash my face, but,
I think you hit everybody. I think we're good.
Yes. So, next week, we have Kim and Allison from REP Paranormal and Friends. They're going to be co-hosting with me. Thursday, you can catch me on REP Paranormal with Darren Buss. Darren Buss will be the guest. I'll be the co-host. So that should be fun.
Yes.
And, of course, like we said, catch Seeking the Paranormal every Thursday, 10 p.m. Eastern, 9 Central.
Yes.
Yes. All right, guys. Good night.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You guys hold on 1 second.
Yeah.